Starting off another day with another revelation. Good morning, everyone. Got people going off to work, people going to school. It's hustle and bustle. Time to get it going. And with that being said, I want to talk a little bit about motivation. Now, every single person who is breathing on this earth at some point in time need to get some outside motivation from somewhere. Whether it's something where you're trying to achieve something or if you're trying to fix something, you need a little motivation sometime, and there's nothing wrong with that. For those of you who are on a spiritual journey and that you're subscribing to, getting motivation from outside sources like books and audios and videos and podcasts so you can improve yourself, kudos to you. There's a select group of people, however, that are on a spiritual journey, and there's something missing in regards to them trying to be motivated. And that is listening to the voice that the Creator has given you. They're not listening to it because they're busy listening to other voices. Let me explain. When you finally decide you want to change the way your life is going because you realize the way that you were living your life before has not produced any results and you're not living as favorably as you should be, once that light bulb is gone off, you need to have an environment where that feeling is nurtured. You're in the process of spiritual growth. And not only do you have to adjust your circle of influence to reflect people and things that are indicators of the new you, indicators of your growth, you also have to be constantly surrounding yourself with energy, words, speech, visual stimulation of things that motivate you. And there's nothing wrong with that. That is something that is required if you expect to grow. You're beginning to tackle your own demons, and you're also able to start identifying the demons in other people. And a lot of these people have been in your life for a very long time. You're starting to see them differently. You're starting to see the truth for what it really is. And for some people, it's not a pleasant thing. So the reason why I want to talk about motivation is because there are some people that are motivation junkies. I know some people that will sit there and spend all day listening to podcasts and watching videos from the time that they get up in the morning through the morning commute till the time they get to the office or the job, all the way through the job, through the lunch break, on the way home, come home, handle the little bit that they need to handle at home, and they're still listening and watching motivational speakers. And I have nothing against that. But the thing is that people are so inundated with listening to what other people tell them what they need to do, is that they have not been in tune with themselves enough to listen to the messages that the Creator is sending them. Have you ever run into these type of people? They're so busy, trying to be positive and trying to do all these positive things. They're not doing their one-on-one with their Creator. I know a couple people that are like this. And then they wonder how come they're missing out on certain things in their life. It's because you're so busy listening to other people to tell you how to be motivated, you're not listening to the messages and the downloads that Creator is giving to you one-on-one because you're so busy listening to someone else. You got to be careful about that. As I mentioned before, I know a couple of people that are like that. And every time we have a conversation, don't get me wrong, it's a good one, because we're talking about self-help, we're talking about motivation, we're talking about the developments that have occurred in our lives, good, bad, and ugly. But the thing is this person does not have a one-on-one relationship with their Creator. They're not taking those few minutes every single day by themselves, no distractions, and talking to the Creator directly. They're not doing it. That's missing in a lot of people's lives. So if you see somebody that's like that from sunrise to sunset, ask them about their meditation regimen. Because you'd be amazed at how many of these people don't even meditate, who don't even pray on a regular basis. But they're chock full of euphemisms and referrals to this podcast and this video and this book. They can give you all the information in the world about that. But when you ask them about their one-on-one communication that they're supposed to have every single day with their Creator, they can't tell you that they have one. Now, what do you think is going to happen with that? Now, see, to the world, that's not, it doesn't matter to them. They think it's a wonderful thing. They think these people are great and wonderful. But the truth is if you're doing all that and you still don't have that one-on-one communication with your Creator, guess what? You're still not going to get everything that you deserve in this world. You're still not. You need to learn how to develop that communication with your Creator so that way when your Creator gives you downloads, gives you messages throughout the day, you'll be able to hear and recognize and interpret them. If you don't, see, when you're busy listening to other voices and then that one voice that you should be listening to chimes through, you're going to turn around and you're going to misinterpret that as the devil. You're going to misinterpret that as a distraction. You're going to look at it negatively because you never heard that voice before. You've never taken the time to block everything out and listen to that voice and recognize it when it speaks. Because you're busy listening to everything else. You know, that's a distraction demon, people. That's a distraction demon. And you got to be very careful. Because I run into a few people, you know, they may be going through some stuff and everything, and the first thing they'll say is, well, I'm just going to be positive and stay busy. Hey, look, I understand that. Because, you know, from time to time, I might have a situation go on, and instead of wallowing in it, I'll go ahead and give it up to the Creator and say, look, this is how I feel. This is what's going on. I don't know what to do, but I understand that I can't control this person or this situation. I've done everything I could on my end, and I understand I need to let it play out, but I need for you to intercede on my behalf and go ahead and do what needs to be done to resolve it. And I just leave it alone and keep going. There's nothing wrong with that because I took a few minutes to address my feelings and concerns. And a lot of these people aren't doing that. They'll talk about their negative situation that they have, but they'll turn around and drown themselves in a sea of positive motivational videos and speeches and shows and books and everything else. But they'll sit there and they'll do that all day and sit there and tell the world, give this smoke screen to the world that they're muddling on through. But the truth is they have not sat down to the Creator and hashed the shit out. See, what they're doing is they're burying their true feelings about the situation in a pile of motivational paraphernalia. They're suppressing. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, when you hear this person does something out of the ordinary, like have a breakdown or walk away from their family or divorce their husband or wife or even to the extreme, damage themselves or hurt other people, and they were otherwise a normally positive person, that's the reason why. Because they were using all the motivational paraphernalia and positive speech instead of dealing with their true issues. What they were really doing was suppressing what was going on deep down inside. And they never gave that up to the Creator to handle. So just be careful. Just be careful. Because I run into this recently now that I have a different group of people that are around me that are into, trying to make that spiritual connection. There are some that they have a long way to go and they don't realize it. They think, and unfortunately some doctrine promotes this, They think the minute they profess that they want to do something different as far as their spirituality, whether it's religion or something else, they think that everything's just going to disappear right away. And for some, it may work because it's time for it to stop right then and there. But to assume that a whole group of people, all of a sudden, just because you say one or two words, all of a sudden the whole group of people is going to just stop, and everything unfortunate in their life is just going to stop all of a sudden. That's bullshit. It's bullshit. And unfortunately, some people have been brainwashed to believe that. All that was is a control tactic. It's a control tactic, and it's a way to try to encourage people to pay more attention to that person that is trying to lead them. There's nothing good about that. That's a sinister and dark spirit that's very manipulating, trying to manipulate and have power over people. But yeah, just be careful, because there's some of them that, they're trying to use the motivation and everything else as an escape instead of dealing with things. When you're taking this spiritual journey, and a lot of people are missing this, you've got to do the shadow work. Okay? You got to take that dark walk of the soul. And the number one you don't do is, when you're taking that dark walk, is sit there and try to shuffle all those negative things that are going on inside of you. Try to shuffle them from one place to another. That's not doing any work. You ain't there yet. You got to address these things head on. You and your creator. You got to work that shit out. You've got to do some repair. You've got to do some fixing, some rebuilding. You've got to do it. You can't turn around and expect some kind of Pop-Tart results where you just stick it in a toaster and it comes out good. No, it doesn't work out that way. It's a process. And see, that's what this all boils down to. Looking for a quick fix by drowning yourself in motivational paraphernalia instead of actually working out those things that you know you need to work out. And for some of you, that's what you're doing. You're suppressing everything instead of addressing. And when you do that, it doesn't matter how much positive this and positive that and motivational this and inspiring that you're going to hear, until you address what you need to address inside of you. You're not going to receive those blessings that you're entitled to. And see, this is something that I had to deal with over the past several years. See, I thought I was cool because I was clean and that I was trying to get myself financially stable and make myself emotionally available, but I didn't address the shit deep down inside of me. I didn't address those negative feelings. I didn't address those character flaws. Don't get me wrong, I'm not perfect. Neither will I profess to be. But I'm not operating in that same energy before. You got to check, you got to deal with yourself before you expect any blessings from the outside. And going somewhere and having somebody dab something on your forehead or sprinkle over your head, you think all of a sudden that the minute that happens, everything is going to disappear. It's going to be a process. All it is triggering the process to start. That's what it's doing. But in some cases, and I'm saying in some cases, okay, in some cases, when you're put in that situation and you've got this person, this leader or whoever it is, trying to encourage, all you got to do is come down here and all I got to do is put this liquid on your head or put my hand somewhere on your body or sprinkle some water and everything's going to be fine in your life. No. Now, for some of you, it might be a situation that goes away. I'm not sitting up here saying that miracles don't happen. But for a lot of us, it's a process. It might have triggered a process to begin. And for those of you if it disappeared at that point, understand this. if it disappeared at that point, that's not going to stop the forces that are out there from trying to bring it back into your reality later on. Understand that. The dark forces are constantly working 24/7, 365, because they know that every single person on this world has a purpose to serve the Creator. And they also know they run the numbers, okay? They run the numbers and know who's not going to do it and who's going to do it. They know who's struggling and who's not struggling. And these are things you got to understand. So in order for you to combat the dark forces is that you got to deal with the darkness within you. Okay? You've got to deal with all those negative flaws and everything else within you. You've got to do some character building, because character building could save your life and the life of people around you. So sitting up here cloaking yourself in all this inspiring positivity, motivation, and everything else without dealing with your dark issues, what's going to happen is later on there's going to be a situation that's coming up, that's going to come up, that's going to have something to deal with your dark issues and things that you didn't deal with, and you're wondering, and first thing you're doing is running to the Creator asking why. Because you didn't address it. So, just be careful, guys. Just be careful. This is so important to have a one-on-one relationship with your Creator. Even if it's just a few minutes in the morning just to say amen or thank you. Some sort of acknowledgement, something. Because what that does is open the doors of spiritual communication and makes them even wider, where you can start receive spiritual downloads and messages, and you can recognize the voice of your Creator throughout the day. It can get you out of a whole lot of trouble. It can get you out of, situations where you could save your life or the life of other people. But when you sit there and you don't even address that, and don't establish that one-on-one relationship, when the Creator does speak to you and tell you something to do, you so cloaked in all this other bullshit, you don't even know if it's a good word or a bad word. And as I stated before, a lot of people misinterpret some of the things that the Creator tells them as something from the devil because of the way they're living their life, because they didn't do any shadow work. Okay? So just be careful with that. Be positive, but also use wisdom. You got to be humble, And a lot of that stuff that these people are doing is because they lack humility. They don't want to address what's wrong with them. Before you go into spiritual battle on behalf of someone else or behalf of something that's, out there in the world that's against you, you got to do that battle within yourself and win first. Okay? Look at yourself, because at the end of the day, that's who you got. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go. Peace to you.